This show's going to be funny. 22 teams in the NFL might agree that the Tush Push is a form of cheating. A wet dream for a teenage boy to create a play that's so successful that the only way for it to be stopped is for it to be banned. 3 of the teams that voted for this thing, among them the Jaguars, the Jets, and the Browns. So you got arguably the 3 most confused, up franchises in the NFL. What an interesting issue the Tush Push really is.
And now a man whose living room carpet is made out of AstroTurf, Ricky Cobb.
Oh yeah, and welcome you sweet bastards. It's a Thursday morning in Chicago. I'm Ricky Cobb, and this is the Ricky Cobb Show. In today's program, we got lots of Super 70s sports tweets for you. We got some funny shit today, I'm just going to tell you. I know we do every day, but today, as I look at our lineup, this show's going to be funny. Legalized cheating is coming to professional sports, by the way. This is one of my favorite stories today. We're going to get to that just a little bit later, but I don't know. Maybe let's start with, speaking of cheating, some might say, 22 teams in the NFL might agree that the Tush Push is a form of cheating. And NFL owners in Minneapolis this week meeting to discuss, among other things, the Tush Push and whether or not it needs to be banned from the NFL. And maybe in a little bit of a surprise to me, the Tush Push is going to survive for at least one more year, the owners voting 22-10 to ban it. But you got to have 24. You have to reach the 75% threshold in order to ban anything for the league, from the league that's up for debate. And so 2 votes shy, and the Tush Push lives for another day. Jeffrey Lurie, the Eagles owner, reportedly very animated during the meeting, perhaps even offending some in attendance when he made an analogy telling the people in the room, regardless of whether or not it was going to be banned, it was a win-win, in Lurie's words, for the Eagles, and that it was quote-unquote like a wet dream for a teenage boy to create a play that's so successful that the only way for it to be stopped is for it to be banned.
Yikes.
Preemptively, easy for me to say, thumbing his nose at his fellow owners, and then the Tush Push survives. Executive Vice President of Football Operations for the NFL, Troy Vincent, former defensive back for the Miami Dolphins, some of you old heads might remember, chastising Lurie for the wet dream comment, saying there are women in the room. And I can only imagine that at least 2 or 3 of them probably fainted. They got the vapors when they heard this. Oh, Lord, did he say wet dream? And just hit the floor like Beetlejuice. Here's a surprise. Every team in the AFC East voted to ban the Tush Push except, get this, the Buffalo Bills, the second most successful practitioners of this play. Only the Eagles do it better. Josh Allen, of course, is a fucking horse, and he does it to great effect, but the Bills voting against their best interest, and some are saying that that is stupid, but I think it highlights what an interesting issue the Tush Push really is. I said on the show yesterday, I've got mixed feelings about it myself. I don't have a dog in the hunt. I'm not an Eagles fan. I'm not a Bills fan. I'm a Bears fan. We couldn't fucking do shit if you put an 18-wheeler behind Caleb Williams, probably. So I don't really have a dog in this fight. But I look at it from 2 perspectives. One, I don't like the play. To me, it does look like rugby. I don't think that it's the spirit of American football. Just something about it hits me funny. I don't like it. Not from a danger perspective, and I know there's that debate. They're trying to use the angle of people are going to get hurt as an excuse to ban it, with the problem being there's no evidence that anybody got hurt during the 2024 season from running the tush push. So that argument doesn't really hold water. But still, there's something about the play that for me just feels like you're kind of putting your thumb on the scale. You found a cheat code, in a sense. I know it's within the rules. And there is the rub. Because it is within the rules. And just because the Eagles do it better than everybody else, why should they, or the Bills, regardless of what the Bills' own vote was, why should teams that are successful practitioners of this play be penalized for figuring out a way to do it better than everybody else? The complaint is, hey, look, if it's that easy, if it's that much of a cheat, if it's this much of a problem, why isn't everybody running it to great effect? Apparently, it's not that easy, or we'd have 32 teams that are all doing what the Eagles are doing. So I do have mixed feelings about it, but the Eagles certainly do not. Taking to social media, wasting no time in trolling the rest of the NFL, throwing up memes and all kinds of stuff here. One of them, push on.
Push in the bush. Push in the bush.
Push it. Push it real good. Is that salt and pepper, Tim? No joke here, too, that is the Green Bay Packers featured in that, because the Packers are the ones who brought this thing to the league for a vote in the first place, although I'm sure that they weren't the only team that's strongly against it. By the way, 3 of the teams that voted for this thing, among them, the Jaguars, the Jets, and the Browns. So you got arguably the 3 most confused, fucked up franchises in the NFL. If 2 of those 3 had voted against the tush push, it would have been curtains for the play, but they voted to keep it. 10 teams saying, we're okay with it. I think it's on thin ice. I expect that we will see another vote next year. If one motherfucker gets injured running this play during the 2024 season, somebody's going to try to use that to great effect. But the Eagles, nonetheless, taking a victory lap. You can see here, tush push ban vote. It says tush bush, but, whatever. Come on, Eagles. Let's tighten it up over there. And then Jalen Hurts. Happy, sleepy, excited, confused, angry, sad, frustrated, proud. Tush push is not banned. The only thing that makes him that happy, other than the tush push not getting banned, is not going to the White House. Those are the things that bring a smile to his face. And, of course, scoring rushing touchdowns. The tush push has been marked safe from being banned today. So let rejoicing commence and continue in the city of brotherly love. You're going to get to run that play for at least one more season. Now, from debatably cheating to outright fucking cheating, the enhanced games are coming in 2026. Have you heard about this? We've got an official event, an Olympic-style event in Vegas next year. And here's the rule. There aren't any rules, apparently. You want to pump up with steroids? You want some human growth hormone? Get out the syringes, baby, because we're not going to hold you back. Let's see what human beings can do when they're jacked to the gills on horse steroids and see what happens. You want to see people run fast? You want to see people swim fast? You want to see people jump a long way? Well, then we're going to have to shoot some stuff into them. Donald Trump Jr. is involved in this venture. I was surprised to learn this morning. The enhanced games, it's allowed, if not encouraged, to use PEDs, is what they're saying. Organizers saying that they hope it will remove the stigma of using these substances and promote safer ways to push the limits of human performance. Well, that's interesting. And there are Olympians that are on board. Australian James Magnuson, who medaled in the 2012 and 2016 Olympics as a swimmer, is already in. He's like, let's fucking do this. I'm ready to take anything that's going to make me cut through that water faster. The International Olympic Committee, less impressed, issuing a statement saying, if you want to destroy any concept of fair play and fair competition in sport, this would be a good way to do it. So the enhanced games It's like, didn't Saturday Night Live have some bit about this years ago? If they didn't, they should have. I once tested positive for steroids just from looking at one of my own tweets. True story. Take a look at that, man. Juan Gonzalez, Canseco, Rafael Palmeiro, and Pudge Rodriguez. Pudge is in the Hall of Fame, and Pudge is a follower of Super 70 Sports, so we're just going to leave Pudge out of this. Canseco, proud, admitted cheater. Gonzalez, suspected cheater. Pudge Rodriguez, by some people, suspected as well, although I love you, Pudge. I'm not going to throw you under the bus. And then Rafael, I did not take steroids, Palmeiro, but I did take Viagra, Palmeiro. I remember when the best athletic treatment was a beer. You know? Mac Davis from North Dallas 40 right there. It's a well-known fact in the 70s that the effectiveness of any athletic treatment was enhanced at least 200% by pounding a can of beer. It needed to be a can of beer, too. If it didn't go when you opened it, the effectiveness of the athletic therapeutic treatments were compromised.
Look at the motor on that thing. Look at the motor on that thing, and we see it full here again, strategically placed. Not sure whether he's wearing underwear, but good Lord, are they mixing flour in that thing? What's going on? Industrial size motor.
I don't know. It looks like Mom might be making a cake once he gets his fucking arm off of that thing. Tim, let's begin with the enhanced games. What do you make of this? I thought when I first heard about it, okay, this is just a real crackpot. This is almost like a what the fuck Ron type story.
Totally.
Then I see Donald Trump Jr. is involved. And they're using a statement from Donald Trump that they've put together on their website. I'm talking about President Trump, that they're trying to use to promote this thing, obviously leveraging Don Jr.'s connections. What do you make of a 2026 alternative to the Olympics where people are just jacked up on the juice and seeing what they can do?
This is incredibly well thought out. So we first heard some of this back in January or February, but there was a legit press conference in Las Vegas yesterday. Aaron D'Souza, who is the organizer of this thing, and Ricky, we're talking tens of millions of dollars at stake here. This isn't just some fly-by-night, come get a couple $100,000. And he's serious. I mean, his quotes are really forward-thinking, if you believe him. We're here to move humanity forward. The old rules held back athletes.
You're into it.
I am, man,
Listen,
because
you're into this.
Look, if we all know that the field it was not a level playing field for how many years, right? And Ben Johnson got around the doping, and Lance Armstrong, and go down the list. The testing always seemed to be 3 years behind the science. So shit, these guys are saying, hey, let's have a modern day gladiator games, get as jacked up as you want, get it, and real money, dude. The swimmer you mentioned has already I think he's already grabbed $250K for, I think, doing the 50-meter swim in the pool quicker than anybody. And there are major purses. These former Olympians are saying, literally, I can make as much money in this one event than I did 10 years previous. So I don't know, man. I'm thinking this could be real. I wish there were, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think there's combat sports in it yet. I know they ruled out gymnastics and other things, but just track and field so far, I believe.
Yeah, I'm
swimming.
Not sure, dude.
Yep, swimming, track and field.
Traditional Olympic style sports. But you were telling me moments before we went on the air, and I said, okay, let's hold this and have the conversation with the people, which is what we do on this program. Cocaine is not allowed. There still are rules. It's not completely the Wild West here.
It's amazing. It's so amazing, dude. What a time to be alive. You're absolutely right. The fact that they have to make a distinction that it's not going to be a free-for-all and a full-blown bonanza. They're going to have to be some approved substances.
This is where they lost me.
Sorry to
This
say,
is where
LT.
they lost me. If this is
LT,
truly
no
the
cocaine.
enhanced games, you should be able to fucking take anything that you want. There should be some guy out there fucking tweaking in the starting blocks of the fucking 100 meters. Just
doing his face off.
Just let's fucking do this.
Let's ready
go.
to rumble! Oh my God, I'm getting fired up just thinking
It's
about
the enhanced games. Listen, I don't want to watch the enhanced games and then have some guy's gold medal taken away from him because he was doing coke in the hotel the night before. That doesn't make any sense to me. Seriously, that ruins the whole credibility of this.
But they're not going to test.
Be enhanced.
They're not going to post test though. That's the other thing. They're not going to post test.
Well, why are they even bothering to put a disclaimer of any kind on it?
Some of it is
that's harshening my buzz here.
Right. Some of it is draconian a little bit in that, they are going to do some clinical trials for some of these drugs on these athletes. I believe it's going to be, again, there's going to be all sorts of crazy Frankenstein shit going on. But look, man, I honestly.
It needs to be completely irresponsible. The whole thing is they should just be like, we don't know. Just fucking show up and let's fucking do it.
Here's the big vat of amphetamines. Grab some reds, grab some blues, and let's see who wins.
Yeah, it's like whatever you do it's your fucking business. We're just here to hand out awards and entertain people.
Listen, one year from this weekend, though.
System.
I don't love the Memorial Day plug. The Patriot in me says Memorial Day should be, maybe pick another day. But look, man, this was sort of the same vibe that UFC had 15 years ago. What is this barbarian shit? What's going on? Why are we doing that? It's not a sport.
Human cockfighting.
Yeah. Listen, I'm also jazzed, Ricky. For the first time, we had a Le Monde, a French newspaper link in our rundown today, because not everybody's opposed to it. Some people are saying, hey, you know what? You're right. It's 2025. The 25 years of testing has been bullshit in the Olympics. To your point, how many people win a medal and then it's taken away, months later? Let's go for it. Let's have a somewhat organized cast, no cocaine. Why not?
Who are the fucking Olympics to get all high and mighty about this when we've got women over there getting the shit beat out of them by XY chromosome people, and the Olympics are going to say, well, hey, wait a minute, this is going to fuck up the integrity of athletic competition. Excuse me? After what we saw in Paris?
Incredible. No, absolutely
with
incredible.
Khalif and all of that. I mean,
yes.
Really, this has more credibility than letting men beat up women.
Look, it's another.
Tell you that.
Yeah, I don't expect the Olympics to follow suit, but it's a natural progression. There's such a science behind all this stuff now. Why not do it in somewhat of a controlled, safe environment? We all, again, I don't want to disparage every athlete. I'm sure there's some who've done it cleanly, but good Lord, let's make it happen, right? Why not? Give it a whirl, see how it goes. They want to do other events.
Well,
I know they're going to get to other sports too. And look, there's real money. People are going to do it.
Well, Tim, I've got some suggestions. There's some athletes that we could send. We could send our finest. If we're going to do this, the United States should be represented at the highest levels possible. So one idea might be this.
What do we got first here? A little roulette. Oh,
there you go. How about this? Let's just send the fucking GOAT if we're going to do it. Okay, he's been waiting his entire life for this moment. It's been a slow train coming.
He looks good.
Yeah, he looks good. He looks great because he's been pumping himself full of artificial preservatives for 40 years.
Jose, don't you wish you accepted that invite to join us on the show?
Yeah.
Look at the veins.
I wouldn't have had to say that your nuts were the size of marbles if you'd come on the show, Jose. I'm nice to people who come on the show. I don't know. Are there others that we could send? How about this? I don't even think Sammy Sosa is.
Oh, you did Sammy
wrong. Is he
even
a citizen?
Look at the skin flap. What's up with the droopy skin? Did he have a breast reduction surgery?
None of us are 25 anymore, Tim. Shit starts to happen. when you go to, but McGuire's still looking pretty good. You're not seeing any of that loose skin on Big Mac there. So,
Yeah.
Tim, this gave us an idea. You know, we haven't done a Gimme 5 in a little while, and so we decided today we're going to do a Gimme 5, our biggest cheaters in the history of sports. So each one of us are going to contribute 5 notorious cheaters today. We're not going to celebrate them.
I like it. Let's do it.
Wow. I didn't see you going Laban there, but I'm glad you did. Tim, do you want to go first? How do we?
No, I think you should. I think you should lead the way. I think you should lead the way, Ricky. I'm gonna take your cue here. I like it. So, notorious cheaters based on the enhanced games, which I would argue they probably not cheating, but I like it. Let's do it.
All right. So, and this is any type of cheating, not just performance enhancement. All right. No, my first one, number 5. I've got Danny Almonte. You remember this kid? He showed up at the Little League. He drove his own car to the Little League World Series and then just started striking everybody out.
Dominant
was
lefty.
27, had 2 children.
Yeah, everybody was Illustrated that turned it up.
Oh, remember that? We were already thinking. We were like, in 6 years, this motherfucker's going to get drafted. He's going to be Dwight Gooden when he's 18 years old. Turns out that, he was practically a grown man. No, he was 14. But you know what? Probably if we had gone looking for a birth certificate, Kelly Leak was probably a little bit old for that league that he was in as well. I don't want to tarnish his home run records, which still stand in Southern California, but Kelly Leak looked to me to be just a little bit older than 12 years old. But Danny Almonte makes my list. How about Rosie Ruiz, who won the women's Boston Marathon in 1980, I believe it was. And then they determined later that her time was so ridiculous, there was no way that it was possible. Nobody knew who she was. It turns out that she went and got on the subway at one point, Tim. It just advanced herself through the race a little bit.
And showed up, no sweat, didn't look like she had done any jogging. Sort of, hey, here I am, surprise. She pulled it off, though. She pulled it off for a bit.
Yeah, there for a few minutes. She was accepting accolades as the greatest upset champion that the world has ever known. But
I think she has the crown. I think she has the crown and the medal on that picture, Ricky. I think she's got the crown and the medal there.
Look at her. She's wearing the Greek flower crown or whatever that fuck it is. Like Julius Caesar. Yeah.
Good.
Look
at
that.
Lord. Good for her. That's a good imagination in 1980. Yeah.
Look at those cops. They look like the cops from a fucking sitcom.
It's incredible.
These guys. Look at those. That might be Tony La Russa on the left there, from what I can get. All right, number 3. I'm giving number 3 to an entire team. The 2017 Houston Astros. Banging trash cans.
Sorry,
getting signals.
Losers.
Right there. Yeah. Altuve. I'm slapping an asterisk on that World Series championship. They knew what was coming when they were playing at home. And other teams allegedly did it as well. I mean, we've kind of pushed that one under the rug. We still talk about McGuire and Sosa and Canseco. We're doing it. But this is less than 10 years ago, and nobody ever talks about it anymore. You know?
So highly orchestrated, so sophisticated, use of video, that monitor, then the trash can.
Yeah.
Like, holy smokes.
Wasn't Alex Cora banned from baseball for a while before he was reinstated, and now he's the manager of the Red Sox, and we just act like whatever.
Yeah,
and everybody's still so worried about Pete Rose, and we're still so worried about Barry Bonds. But, apparently we're just going to sort of erase it from history.
Listen, a lot of people, I think even your friend Pete, who I believe is the Rangers fan, he's got the asterisks on their World Series. He does not have the Astros being now I know it wasn't the same year, right? It was was it 18? But look, man, massive cheating scandal. Good for you for calling it out. Right, and
Yeah.
we're banning all these other people for
It's
far
not
less
legitimate.
egregious
That
stuff. No,
2017 one, I don't recognize it.
right.
Number 2 on my list, Barry Bonds. And it's not that Barry Bonds was
Ooh,
it's not that he's more of a cheater than a lot of other people who cheated, because he's not, but he was already so fucking good that
yeah,
when he started cheating, he turned himself into like a superhero. That's the problem. And people say to me, who is the best hitter that ever lived? And my answer has always been, I always thought for most of my life, it's Babe Ruth and Ted Williams. I would argue that Ted Williams is the greatest hitter who ever lived. Having said that, if we don't judge, if this is like the enhanced games and we don't care what you did,
oh my
Barry
God,
Bonds is the greatest hitter that's ever walked the earth, because the version of Barry Bonds from the early 2000s, that guy was unbelievable. He might see one good pitch a night. He might get one good pitch to hit a night, and more often than not, he blasted it. And then lastly, the biggest cheater of all time, and fuck this guy, all-time captain of the all phonies, Lance Armstrong. 7-time Tour de France champion, had them all taken away from him after we found out that he was just doping like crazy the entire time, while, lying to everybody, and everybody's wearing their fucking jelly bracelets and whatever because the guy's a cancer survivor, which, I'm glad that he beat the cancer and everything, but then he goes out and, achieves all of this completely fraudulently, while everybody is constantly talking about what an incredible inspiration he is. And he, Greg LeMond, who won, I believe, 3 times, the second most decorated American cyclist, he hates Lance Armstrong. Like, Lance Armstrong, as I understand it, made some sort of threatening comments, or what Greg LeMond perceived as threatening comments to him. Lance Armstrong, if you really start looking into it, there's a lot of evidence to suggest, beyond just the doping, that guy's a real scumbag.
Yeah, for sure. I think the way he did collect the flowers and sympathy and sort of out front, totally with you. I mean, look, still a cancer survivor, right? Did he ever try saying that some of it was the cancer drugs? No. Legal steroids, maybe. Yeah, it was the years in which he did it. And obviously, riding in the peloton, taking the lead there, obviously a bit of a team win.
Fraud.
But I'm with you. Yeah, fraud. I got you. I got you.
Fraud. All right, before we turn it over to you, I do have one honorable.
Got an honorable mention. What do you got?
And I do mean honorable mention. Gaylord Perry. I want to give a shout out to Gaylord Perry, who for some reason it just hits different, his cheating. A guy who was doctoring baseballs for years and years and years. Vaseline was his chosen thing. KY jelly. He would load up the ball. Everybody knew it. He would throw rosin balls where he would just put a lot of rosin on the ball, and then when he would throw it, it would sort of just come out of a puff of talcum powder. But anybody who is willing to write a book about how they're actively cheating, and then you play another 10 years in the major leagues after that, it's called Confessions of a Cheater, me and the Spitter. So there is that. And then here's a Gaylord Perry tweet for you, Tim, just as a little bonus. The good news, you found a jar of Vaseline signed by Gaylord Perry. The bad news, you found it on your wife's nightstand and a third of it is missing. So.
Yeah.
Oh, Tim. Well, thank you.
I like it.
All right, Tim.
I like
With that being said, they can't all be Hey Jude, can they?
I got
all
you,
right,
bud.
Tim.
I got you.
Give me 5.
I'll give you 5. All right, so I'll make it quick here. I'm going to stick with baseball. We had the Sammy Sosa, steroid AI, but I'm going to go Sammy Sosa and the corked bat. Don't forget that whole nonsense that, he just grabbed the batting practice bat. Yeah. Now, in fairness, according to MLB, who I'm not sure whatever, I wasn't sure. It was an independent auditor from Deloitte, Haskins, and Tush, or whatever it is. They said his other 76 bats were tested fine. I'm calling bullshit. He swung a corked bat. he was suspended a game. So Sammy Sosa on my list of all-time cheaters. Staying in the Midwest.
Just looking for every advantage, Tim. Every advantage. At least McGuire didn't cork his fucking bat.
Right.
Pick a lane, Sammy. He chose all of the above when it came to cheating.
Going to stay in the Midwest. Who could forget Jim Harbaugh? The man, the myth, the legend, taking college sign stealing to a whole new level. Boy, I have that AI image next time we do this of him wearing the military grade helmet with binoculars and everything else. But again, when you talk about in-depth, orchestrated, well thought out, super duper plan, maybe he wasn't cheating because, he did what he had some of his opponents were allowing Stallions on the sideline weeks in advance. So Harbaugh, really, I think, sorry, Jim, love you, love what you and your family are about, but you make my cheaters list. The lowest of the low, Ricky, for me is what happened with Spain's 2000 Paralympic basketball team. I think you're familiar with this.
I don't know. I don't know about this one now. Okay.
So we're gonna.
What do we have here?
So the Paralympic team, 10 of the 12 players faked their disability and deliberately failed their IQ. Deliberately failed their IQ test. So they.
Come on now.
Yes. Jesus, yes. It's so bad.
Oh, my God.
They won gold.
Oh, my God.
They won gold in the intellectual disability category, right? But 10 of the...
There should be a movie. There should be a movie about this.
It's so bad.
Honest to God, somebody needs to write the screenplay for this.
It's so bad.
That is the most despicable thing that for some reason doesn't even make me mad.
And look at how
those guys are
if we can see the photo,
bastards.
If we could see the photo full for a second. So 10 of the 12 lied about their intellectual disability. I'm going to argue that number 13 in front with his hands there, he's probably not one of the guys who lied, but I could be wrong.
Oh, come on. Tim, come on, man.
I don't know. But let's move on. Let's move on while I still...
He's the legit guy. Oh.
Whoa, speaking of legit.
You know what? You're going to hell and I'm fucking riding shotgun and playing songs on the radio. All right, Tim.
Speaking of
they're
legit,
only number 3 somehow.
No,
okay.
Speaking of legit, this may be controversial, Ricky, but I'm going to go for it. I'm going to put Leah Thomas as a cheater. I just don't. Now, maybe she used the rules that were available to her at the time, and maybe there was no obvious infraction of the rules. But I would say in the common sense world of rules, Leah Thomas is a cheater.
You got to know deep down, when you're standing on the platform, when Leah Thomas was standing on the platform, accepting the recognition for the performance that was just given, don't tell me that you don't know at a core level that what you did wasn't legitimate. So I'm going to agree with you. Just because something's not against the rules doesn't make it right.
Amen.
And you have to know. That's the thing I don't understand is when we see something like this happen where somebody's setting records and you're setting records despite the fact that your balls are given an aerodynamic drag or whatever as you're going through the water. Okay.
Torpedo.
You're going to tell me that you feel great about that performance, that you feel like you really earned it.
Definitely
give me
not.
a break. It'd be like you or me going and competing against, it's like I've said before, give me my Easton aluminum bat and send me over to the local Little League and let me launch some balls into orbit off of 11 and 12-year-olds. And I can definitely do that, but am I going to feel good about it afterwards? Am I going to feel like, boy, I've really accomplished something worthwhile? Give me a break.
I'm with you, bro. Unless she completely erased her memory bank and forgot that, hey, I was the 213th ranked swimmer when I was on the male team. I'm with you. You've got to be standing there thinking,
ridiculous.
Right. Ridiculous. All right. So the last
How you
one for
can
me.
Take satisfaction in it is beyond me.
Right. Terrible. So last one for me. I'm going to. The French skating judge from 2012. You remember that whole controversy? The French team pressured her to vote for the pairs. Sort of an honorable mention, but I'm going to leave it at this. A shout out to all the guys at the Scoreboard crew and everywhere else in Seattle for pumping in all that fake crowd noise in Seattle for all those years, having been at a game for then Washington Redskins game, and it had long been a complaint for a while there. But pumping in crowd noise might not be high on your list of cheating offenses, but there's no doubt the 12th man is loud, but they're louder when they pump in artificial stuff. It definitely caused some issues with opponents and signal callers.
Tim, I don't know if you saw this one or not. A writer, a syndicated column writer, this one got sent out all over the country, Chicago Tribune and a lot of big markets. The guy was doing a summer reading list, books that we could look forward to this summer. And it turns out that some of the books that were referenced in this article are not real. And it's because the writer got duped by AI, using artificial intelligence to help him come up with the book selections to feature in his piece. AI suggested books that don't really exist, and he just ran with it anyway.
What kind of a dumbass?
Titles here, are two of the four titles are not real. They are titles that were suggested to him by AI. And they happen to be the two most believable titles in his defense. Is that right? Is that correct?
What a
Nightshade
dumbass.
Market and The Last Algorithm are AI created books that they just fed this poor motherfucker. He bid on it, went out, told the entire world that they could look forward to these books.
Put it on your summer reading
Everyone
list.
poops and still stripping after 25 years are actual books. By the way, you can go to Amazon and find those, presumably. But you got to be careful with AI, dude. I have learned that in using it, and I use AI a ton. I'm a huge proponent of it. I use it for work. I use it for show prep. I use it in my personal life. I look at AI. Grok is basically my caddy, is how I see it. If I'm prepping for this show, I'm going to ask. I was asking Grok how to pronounce consigliere this morning, because a lot of people say consigliere, but apparently it's consigliere. I asked this, right? I even watched a couple of videos this morning of Dave on other shows. See, this is how much I care. I want to get that right. See what they call it. One person called him consigliere, the other person called him consigliere. I'm like, what the fuck is it? I asked Grok. Grok is like, it's consigliere is what it is.
Well, the writer Marco Buscaglia could have learned from you, because he did not double check his work, and he's admitted it's a stupid error on his part.
Then again, I didn't double check either. Maybe Grok gave me the wrong pronunciation, and I've been saying it wrong all show. But you have to check it on anything that is fact-based. I have learned it will feed you bad data, particularly if I'm asking it about sports statistics or something. Sometimes it'll fool you. But speaking of books, Tim,
this is on my summer reading list.
I'm recommending this, top of my summer reading list. It's going to be a real page turner. My Micro Penis Journey by Ronnie T-Shirts. He goes through the entire story of being born with micro penis and then living for 58 years with the condition, coming to terms with it, learning to love himself in his tiny, tiny penis.
He's owning it. I love it. Own it, Ron.
Yeah, that is, I think, Simon & Schuster has published this one. So look for that at your local Barnes & Noble. Find booksellers near you. An inspirational story of a man who overcame having almost no genitalia at all, functionally.
Is that why he's in Vegas?
Right.
Is he doing a book signing out there?
It may be to promote the book, actually. I didn't ask him about it, but that is very likely what's going on. He's going to be signing some books and meeting with some people, talking to some of the doctors who have tried to help him through the years, but There was just no help. There was just no help to be had. You know, when God just says you don't get a penis, you know, you just got to learn to deal with it. But Ron, look at the smile on his face. He has learned to live with it. He has found contentment in his own deformed, inadequate body, Tim.
Miss you,
I think
Ron.
that's the
Miss
lesson
you.
that we all need to. A triumph of the human spirit, some are saying. That's my blurb on the back, by the way, Tim. I say a triumph of the human spirit. Ricky Cobb, the Ricky Cobb Show, OutKick. If you like what you saw on today's show, head over to outkick.com/newsletters and sign up for Ricky Cobb's Rewind. We're going to have great stuff coming to you every 2 weeks via email. It's absolutely free, and you can stay on top of everything that we're doing on the program.